Optimus Alpha, how to build anything. So Optimus Alpha is a new stealth model. Seems to have come from OpenAI, but I'll talk about more of that in a second. And this is a free API that you can use. So for example, I've used it to build this tariff Pong game over here. Like you can see, it may be one of the best games ever created, as you can see. And additionally, we have this office simulator, so we can just, if we ever just want to feel like we need to get back in the cubicle, we can right there, right? And additionally, we've created this flashcard app, right? And it was really, really simple. I can't code out the rankings, which are available on Open Router AI. So this compares all the main models, how they're performing, etc. And you can see the Optimus Alpha is ranked number second out of all these models today. So a lot of people rate it very highly. It's actually outperforming DeepSeek. Gemini 2.0 Flash is at the top here, and then Claude 3.7 Sonnet is actually below Optimus Alpha, which is a paid model and probably one of my favorites for creating content. But as you can see, Optimus Alpha is right at the top. I would agree with these rankings. I do think Google is better, but we'll come on to that in a second, and I'll come on to why later in this video. You may be wondering, okay, who's actually created Optimus Alpha or Quasar Alpha? So these are two different models that came out. Quasar Alpha was another one, and you can see here Sam Altman actually he kind of acknowledged that Quasar Alpha was OpenAI's model, as you can see right here. They also talk about this on Reddit as well. So it's quite interesting to see this. Additionally, OpenAI were talking about releasing some open source models, and this seems to be one of them. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty powerful for creating stuff, creating games, apps, tools, etc. So let me show you exactly how to use it. So if you want to use this, for example, inside Visual Studio Code, which is how I, for example, created this flashcard app, then the way that you can do that is you just go onto Visual Studio Code. I've got a bunch of SPs inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. If you go to your settings, then select Open Router, then you're going to plug in an Open Router API key, and just make sure you select Optimus Alpha as your preferred API model. Right? Then from there, you can code out whatever you want. So you can see, for example, here we are beginning to code out a flight simulator. It's going to take a bit back and forth, but we're getting there. So for example, if we say, okay, run the HTML, or let me preview this now, for example, then we should be able to preview the game so far. Obviously, this one, last time I checked it, it needs some upgraded UI, but we'll come on to that in a second. So it's running the API request. And then you can see it's coding out right here, right? So you can also run this in a tool like Bolt Local. I actually have an SOP inside the AI Profit Boardroom for all of these methods I'm talking about today, including root code as well. So if you want to be able to set up root code and basically code whatever you want using Optimus Alpha, then you can do that with the SOP inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And if we go into this bolt.local command, what we can do is we can open up the terminal. We'll plug in this command like so. Literally, this is just so easy. It's like a copy and paste method. pm install it, and then we shall pm run dev, right? And then what you can do with Bolt Local, which is kind of like a free open source version of bolt.new, we can take this local URL. We can go into Bolt Local. I'm just going to grab an API key from Open Router. And then we can start coding out apps and tools and games using Optimus Alpha or any of the other models on Open Router as well. So let me create this right now. We'll copy that, and then we'll go back to Bolt. And inside this section over here, we're just going to click on Add an API key. So we'll add Open Router's API key here. And then we can select Optimus Alpha, which again, you can see is $0 in, $0 out. And it actually has a million token context link window, which is what we like. So for example, if we say, okay, build out, just super basic idea to show you how easy this is, build out a to-do list app, we can start using Optimus Alpha to build that out. and build out tools, right? Now, the interesting thing about this is, if you're using something like bolt.new, you're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to pay a lot of credits for bolt.new, costs a few dollars a month, etc. Whereas you can code for free inside Bolt Local instead. You can also code multiple projects at the same time. So, for example, we could code with Bolt Local at the same time that we are coding with, for example, Visual Studio Code as well. So you can see this is coding out locally. And the good thing about both of these is that you can code locally using the Optimus Alpha app. And if you're wondering why I've got this on my face and a flowery little necklace over here, this is not something I usually wear. It's for Songkran in Thailand here. So we're just going to carry on and wait for this to load. And then you can see the to-do list app ready to go right here. So let's celebrate Songkran Festival. Number one to-do list here. We'll add it to the list and you can see that's ready to go. And then if you want to, for example, download this, you can go over to code over here. You can push this to GitHub and post from there. Or you can download the code and then upload it to something like Netlify. So if we download that code, open up the zip file, and then we've got our folder coded out. If you go to Netlify, we can actually host out on a subdomain. So we'll click on add a new site, import from existing project, try Netlify drop, grab that to-do list we just built out. Plug that in. I'll close Bolt Local for now, just because it takes up a lot of memory in the background. And then you can see that's ready for processing right there. So pretty simple and easy to do. To get that hosted, you can easily build apps using Bolt DIY, and then you can host those on Netlify just by downloading the files. And you can code it all for free using Optimus Alpha, as you can see. So just to recap here, we've covered two different ways to code with Optimus Alpha. Number one being Bolt Local, number two being RuCode. Again, all the SOPs are inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you want to steal this stuff from me, if you run this, you can see this is our flight simulator. Obviously, it requires a bit more work. It's not ready to go just yet. I think we can switch the camera as well, so we can switch the camera angles right there, and then we're ready to take off, peeps. All right, it's not the best flight simulator in the world. I don't think anyone's going to BS you and tell you that, but you can easily go back and forth inside RuCode. This was just after a few prompts. It's still very early days for the flight simulator. So you can see here, we gave it the prompt over here. Again, I'll put this prompt inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to steal it from me, and then you just go back and forth with any changes that you want to make, like you can see. So let me put that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. There we go. All right. Now you can also use this inside another extension inside Visual Studio Code, which is Klein. So if you install Klein, like you can see, then we'll go over to Klein on the left-hand side once you've installed it, which is this icon here. Then we can go inside our settings, select Open Router, and again, we'll try Optimus Alpha. There we go. We're going to hit done. And then you, okay, build out a water molecule in temperature control simulator. So inside root code here, we can start a new task. Then we can grab the prompt that's generated with AI, like you can see, and we can go over to client and start coding out with that. All right, and you can see here it costs $0.0, so it is completely free to code with this. And then it's going to come back to you with the details right there. Now, another option is you can actually go into the chat directly. So if you go into Optimus Alpha, again, I've got a full recipe on this if you want to learn how to use this stuff. And if we go over to optimus-alpha.org, we can actually code directly inside the chat here. So if we click on ask a question, then we can start coding. You can even create video here, which is pretty crazy. So you can click on create video. I've not tested that out yet. And then from here, what we can do is, for example, we can start coding directly in the chat. All right. So just to recap as well, if you want to build like basic games, like you can see, you can actually use the chat directly. So for example, if we go over to the AI Profit Boardroom, we'll click on the code here section, and you'll see inside the chat room here, basically we said build out a funny US tariff Pong game between the leader of US and China, like Pong, but it's funny graphic with tariffs between each other. It gave us a couple of versions of the code. I actually took this one right here, and then you can copy and paste it into LiveWeave to test out and preview it right here. So pretty simple stuff and easy to do, as you can see. The other way that you can use this is you can go inside the chat directly on Open Router, so you don't have to use optimus-alpha.org. If you go to the chat room for Optimus Alpha, you can just go back and forth inside here. You can also compare this to other models. So if you're a big fan of, for example, like Gemini, maybe a lot of people, for some reason, 2.0 Flash is beating Pro Experimental on the rankings inside Open Router. But if you want to use Pro Experimental, you've got the choices here, so you can compare them both. And then you can give them the same prompts and just see, okay, which one performs the best. Which is pretty simple stuff. Now, if we go inside root code here, we can also start coding with Optimus Alpha to build out websites. So if we go select root code, go inside the task section over here, and what we'll do is I'm going to grab some of the prompts that help me build the 53 AI SEO tools over here. Right, so we've built out loads of different tools inside the AI SEO Success Lab. So, for example, like a free content humanizer, free content tools, etc. And it's pretty simple to do this stuff, right? So, if you want to build out something like this keyword research tool, we can go inside Visual Studio Code and just say, okay, build out a keyword research tool for SEO that helps me find SEO keywords. And then you can start building out SaaS tools like you can see, all right? So we'll just wait for that to load. There you go. And we can start building out. Now, the other thing you can do inside root code as well, I'm not going to explain this directly on this video, but I'm going to do this inside root code. So I'm going to use Boomerang. We've got an SP inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to learn how to set up Boomerang. And with Boomerang tasks, it's actually much better for building out using this process. Just going to make sure we've got Optimus Alpha selected. There we go. Hit save, hit done, boom. Just something to note there as well is like when you switch between different configuration profiles, yeah, you'll have to reselect the API model as well inside root code. So let's wait for that to load. And I'll show you in a minute as well how to build out AI agents completely for free using Optimus Alpha 2. So you can see it's now creating some subtasks in architect mode. Cool thing about Boomerang is it will switch between like code, architect, engineer, etc. inside this section here. So there's a few different options: code, architect, ask, debug, as you can see. So let's wait for that to load and it will just start building this out. This will also plan out with like these mermaid diagrams exactly how this is going to work. CNC user, React front end, Node.js backend API, mock data, and real keyword APIs as well. Plans out the features, the diagrams, etc. It's a really, really cool way to code with these API keys. Not a coder, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I can easily build stuff using this process. You can also, if you want like a simplified version of this, you could also use something like Bolt Local and then start coding with that as well directly. Now, if you want a faster version of using this, what you can also do is you can go inside NA10. NA10 is free if you host it yourself, right? So if you host it locally or if you self-host it, you can use services like Elastia. I've got loads of SPs on that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you click on NA10, you'll see my whole AI agent section. So you can see all these different ways of building AI agents, and we have tons of stuff for NA10, as well as some SPs on how to self-host it and stuff like that, like you can see in here. And basically, what you want to do is click create a workflow. And if you want to build out an AI agent that you can actually deploy using Optimus Alpha, then you can click on add a new node, add a chat trigger. After that, we'll select AI agent. Then we're going to select the chat model. We'll type in open router. You're going to add your credentials, so your API key for OpenRouter inside the connection section. And then down here, we'll type in Optimus Alpha. And we just need to give a system message to the AI agent, like you can see. And then if we open up the chat, ask it, are you working? And we should be able to build like our own chatbot within a few clicks, as you can see. So it says, are you working? Yes, I'm here and ready to help. How can I help you? And if we open this up, you can see the AI agent is using OpenRouter's chat model to answer our questions, right? And inside the chat model section here, just make sure you've selected Optimus Alpha, right? You can also deploy these. So if we click on active and then grab the make chat URL publicly available, we just need to hit save on this, grab that, and then you can see this is open right here. So if we click on are you working, this will use Optimus Alpha to start answering us, like you can see. And then you can even embed that to your website as well. I'm just going to close that, but you can see how easy it is to build out AI agents using Optimus Alpha. So for example, if we go down here, we'll type in SEO. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so that's like a really cool workflow that we've got inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Let's have a look what else we got. An SEO blog post AI automation method. So you could just plug in, instead of using OpenAI here, you could change this to OpenRouter and then start using OpenRouter to code with Optimus Alpha inside this workflow. Pretty simple and easy. If you go back to this example for the SEO keyword research tool, it's going to go off and start building out a React app using Optimus Alpha as well to build this out. And you can code between multiple things. So I could be coding like an AI agent with NA10, as you can see, and then we could switch over to Ruko to start building out with that directly too. So there's loads of different ways you can use this. Like we've covered so far, Bolt Local for building out apps, for example, like the to-do list, AI agents using NA10, Ruko, you can build out websites and tools as well as games, like you can see with this app, and also this office simulator. Got all my peeps running around right there. And then additionally, we have Klein and the chat directly and Optimus Alpha. So there's so many different options there for coding out, and it's incredibly easy. If you want to grab all the SPs, each one of these links to a different SP. So if you want to steal that from me, feel free to get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom link in the comments description, along with all my best NA10 agent workflows so you can copy and customize to Optimus Alpha. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my community that shows you how to make money and save time with AI, along with how to run Bolt Local and other different tools like that, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Inside this community as well, you'll learn how to make money and save time. There's 670 members, so you can ask for help and advice inside the community. And additionally, it comes with all of my best tips, prompts, templates, and workflows for making money with AI. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales, feel free to get that. Link in the comments description again. This will give you a free SEO strategy session if you book it in that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free custom SEO domination plan. So you'll get a custom tailored link building plan to generate more free leads, sales, and profits from Google. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, we'll answer any questions you have. You'll learn the best link building strategy for your website, plus how to quickly outrank your competitors with link building based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments description. Nicholas says, good morning. Thought you'd take a day off to enjoy Songkran. AI doesn't take a day off, so I won't. Let's see what else we got. Yo from the Fork. Romaric says, I send likes and reactions to support you and signal to the LinkedIn algorithm. Shout out to you. Thank you. And Greek says, Quasar is so fast. Yeah, Quasar is super. I think Quasar Alpha has been taken off now, so you can't use it anymore. Like the alpha period is finished for that. And Romaric says, I'm leaving you. Good luck, more courage. All right, mate. Have a good day there. Romaric says, I don't leave. So for which agent is best in your opinion? I think for coding is pretty good. For coding is good. I think Gemini is probably the best. Romaric says, I'm here on LinkedIn. I don't leave. All right, mate. So today we're going to be comparing the top two models that are absolutely popping off right now. Google Gemini versus Optimus Alpha. And we'll be seeing which one performs the best for coding. And, you know, a lot of people are in the Google Gemini camp. So let's see which one is the best. Now, if we just want to compare them side by side, the main thing to note here is that Optimus Alpha, which is a stealth model, some people are linking it to OpenAI or even Claude as well. Some people saying it's a new Haiku model. But you can see here it has 1 million token context. It costs $0 to use, so you can actually code for it for free. So, for example, like I actually built out this office simulator using Optimus Alpha, and you can also see this tie app that I built. And additionally, this is just in the alpha period. So I think it will be a paid model eventually, but right now it's just free because they're trying to use data. I think they're trying to collect data to see how people use it. You can use Optimus Alpha inside Recode and Klein. You also got Google Gemini 2.0 Flash or 2.5 Experimental. These are really good coding models. I honestly prefer 2.5 Pro Experimental, and that is free to code with as well. If you actually go over to aistudio.google.com, you can start coding with this directly. Let me show you exactly how this works. So if we go into Gemini and then we select 2.5 preview 0325 in the top right, we can start using this to code things out, right? So we're going to be comparing these side by side and seeing which one performs the best. So let's start out. Inside the chat here, we'll start using Optimus Alpha. So you can just select Optimus Alpha from the drop-down model. I'll remove auto router and we'll just stick with this one. And then we've got the same inside here. So we're going to go with a very basic thing here. Which is make me a captivating, endless runner game. Key instructions on the screen. P5JS scene, no HTML. I like pixelated dinosaurs and interesting backgrounds, right? So we'll go inside Gemini and we'll use that prompt. And we'll do the same inside Open Router. And then we can see which one performs the best. We're using exactly the same prompts on both. As you can see, we'll pull them up side by side to see which one is the best. Now, the thing that you're going to know is straight off the bat is that Gemini 2.5 Pro is a thinking model. So whereas Optimus Alpha seems to be like a base model that doesn't seem to think at all, Gemini 2.5 Pro just goes straight into thinking mode before it actually codes anything out. So it's going to be interesting to see. Honestly, from what I've seen, Optimus Alpha, you can get good outputs, but it requires a lot more tweaking, right? So it takes a lot more time to build things out. But let's see what we get back here. We're going to go on to P5JS and just compare them in terms of the code. We've got the code coming out from Optimus Alpha right there. And both of them are taking a little while. It is going to take a little bit of time to code something like this out. So let's see what we get back in a second. So we've got the code back. Test out Optimus Alpha first. We'll copy the code here, and then we'll plug it into the P5.js editor, hit play, see what we get back. And there we go. That is actually looking pretty good, to be fair. It does say press space to jump, which doesn't seem to work. But if you click the mouse, it does work. I mean, the UI is pretty nice right there. It's working perfectly. And that looks pretty good, all right? Now let's compare that versus Gemini. So we'll copy this, plug it in here, and we'll play that. And that is really buggy, but let's see what we got back. Look how buggy that is, the screen. It's like really weird background. Honestly, from what I can see, I would go with Optimus Alpha for the outputs. I know some people, haters in the comments, are going to say you don't have the right prompts or something like that, but this is the actual official prompt that Google did in their demo. And if you compare that versus the UI of this, again, we'll just grab that and run this from Optimus Alpha. Like Optimus Alpha's UI is so much nicer, right? It's not buggy. It works perfectly first time round. It looks a bit more interesting. It's a bit more straightforward to play. Just the overall UI is much nicer. Even when it breaks, it's better. So I'm going to go with Optimus Alpha for that one. I think that won the first round, all right? They both finished about the same time. Obviously, what's interesting here is that you would assume something as complex as that, like where it's coding out a really long game, you'd assume that Google and Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview would do a much better job simply because it's got that thinking mode, it's got that reasoning mode first. But from what I can see, it's not as good. So we've done exactly the same prompt. Haters are still going to hate on me, whatever I say. But from what I've seen so far, Optimus Alpha is beating Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is massive because obviously Gemini 2.5 Pro, it will be a paid model once they finish the alpha period of it. All right, so next up, we're going to test writing. I'm going to take a prompt from the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to get this recipe. And this is for creating SEO content, all right? So we've tested both models on creating games. Now let's see how they perform for writing content. So I'm going to plug in, again, exactly the same prompt. We'll put SEO training Japan as the keyword here. And inside Optimus Alpha as well. We'll see which one performs the best. So Gemini is just having a little think about it, refining the whole outline and everything else. Optimus Alpha has gone straight into creating the content, but it's written in HTML for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. But we'll check back in a second. Maybe that's inside the prompt. Did we put output in HTML? Yeah, we did. That's why. Okay, great. So we'll test the content again, but I'm just going to remove the HTML prompt. There we go. We'll do the same inside Optimus Alpha. we just test which one creates the most humanized content. I don't know why it's labeled stuff as H2 inside Gemini. That's weird. So you see here how it's put like H2, want a custom SEO game plan for Japan. Kind of the format in there is pretty bad compared to Optimus Alpha. But we'll test them in a sec and we'll see performs the best. Plus we'll test them for AI detection in a second. So Gemini is finished before 5 Pro, seems to be faster, seems to win on speed. But if the outputs aren't as good, I'm just going to copy this into a Google Docs. It's not very easy to read. Inside the chat. See what we got. All right. So if we compare these side by side, right? SEO training Japan, the brutally honest blueprint that works from the versus H1 colon, for some reason, I don't know why it's done that. Looking for real SEO training in Japan, here's the straight dope. What sort of a headline is here's the straight dope? Terrible. So this is the output from Gemini 2.5 Pro. Again, I would say Optimus Alpha wins by quite a long way right now. All right, let's talk SEO training in Japan. Seriously, it's just 2 sentences of fluff, isn't it? Not very good. Whereas, for example, here's what I keep hearing. How can I get my site ranking locally in Japan? Japanese market totally different. Why does my English SEO training just not cut it in Japan? Is AI about to wreck my site and my job, or rocket boost me ahead? These are the worries keeping you up at night, right? I get it. The Japanese search landscape is unique. I would say the content on here is just much better. It's not got any weird like H1s or H2s next to each section. It's formatted a bit nicer. I mean, like there's a lot of weird bullet points here as well inside Gemini's content. So again, I would say Optimus Alpha is beating Gemini 2.5 Pro by quite a long way right there. Now, what we can do next is we can actually take the content and just compare them side by side for humanization. So what I'm going to do is I will take the content, first of all, from Optimus Alpha. Let's grab that. We'll plug that into 0GPT and just check it for AI detection, see how it performs. And you can see it comes back as 100% human written. So it bypasses AI detectors. Now let's do the same thing with Gemini. Maybe they'll both pass, but let's see. So we'll hit detect text. See what we get back here. And that detects it as 1.67% AI GPT. So, I mean, it's not a massive amount, to be fair. Like, that is only a tiny amount. But quantitatively, if you're comparing them side by side, which one creates the most humanized content? Well, it would be Optimus Alpha. And that is outperforming Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is pretty crazy when you ask me. So, I mean, in terms of everything so far, for coding out games, Optimus Alpha wins. For creating content, Optimus Alpha wins. For humanizing content, Optimus Alpha wins. The only thing Gemini 2.5 Pro is winning on is speed, but why would you want something faster if it's not as good, right? I'd take quality over speed any day. So really interesting to see how these perform and which one's doing the best so far. Now what we can do is I'm going to grab, let's go over to the AI Profit Boardroom. I'm going to grab some example prompts to compare this against just to benchmark them. So we're going to go with what we got here. What can we do here? All right. Design an interactive AI growth calculator for the website. We'll grab that and we'll plug it into both Optimus Alpha and into AI Studio. I'm going to start a new room here to get rid of the context. Here we go, peeps. There we go. And we'll do the same thing inside AI Studio as well. Hit run. The other thing to note here is that Gemini 2.5 Pro, it does have a limit, right? So you see here, there's actually no limit on using Open Optimus Alpha, right? So when you're using this, you can use it as much as you want. You're not going to come across limits. It's not going to hit like a certain token limit or anything like that. It seems to just go on and on and on without running out, right? Whereas, for example, on Google Gemini, if you're coding with it, if you're using the API from AI Studio, then it does often hit limits, and those limits get hit pretty quickly, which is super annoying when you're trying to code something out that requires a lot of back and forth. So let's see what we get back from Gemini Studio. Now we're going to test this out on LiveWeave. So we have the HTML, JS, and CSS. Let's grab this out. Copy this, we'll plug it in, and we'll get the CSS as well. Go. And then we have the JS. Why is that not working? I think it's made it quite complicated. So it's giving me a bunch of instructions right here. But that, oh, right, we've got the output back here. So it's pretty basic if we have a look. Let's see if it works. Not bad, not bad. I mean, that looks pretty nice, to be fair. It's clean, it's simple. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. All right, so that's the output from Gemini. Now let's test the output from Optimus Alpha. So we'll go back inside the chat here. Just going to say, do again. Wait for that to load. All right, so we've got that back. Let's copy it and test it out. Plug in the code from Optimus Alpha. Let's see. That doesn't look as nice, to be fair. Let's compare it side by side. Yeah, so I think for UI, like look at that compared side by side. So Gemini's UI, I mean, they're both not amazing, but Gemini's UI is much nicer on a one-shot versus Optimus Alpha, right? It just doesn't look as nice. The font is a little bit dated, pretty basic right there. I'm going to say Gemini 2.5 won that round, to be fair. Like, it's much nicer. Looks a lot better. So thanks so much for watching. So I would say if you're creating games, if you're humanizing content, if you're creating content, and if you want something that can code a big project without any interruptions, then go with Optimus Alpha. Now, if you want to, for example, code out a tool, a SaaS tool, or you want a nicer front end, then I'd actually go with coding with Gemini 2.5 Pro. But bear in mind, you are going to hit a lot of limits, so just be careful of that. Now, if you want to get access to all the prompts, tips, templates, and SOPs for using Optimus Alpha, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. We have SOPs on Bolt Local, NA10, RuCode, Client, Chat Directly, etc. So, for example, if we click on the NA10 section here, it will take us through to loads of different AI agents you can use, including all these different templates you can import into NA10. Now, this community is focused on making more money and saving time with AI, so feel free to make sure you sign up. Link in the comments description. Prices are going up this month, so make sure you sign up now before you miss out. And inside the community here, you can ask people any questions you have. And additionally, you can jump on weekly Q&A calls with us and ask us any questions here, right? Link in the comments description. It's an amazing community, and you can get it linked below. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 business a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot, feel free to get that on this free link building acceleration session. We'll give you a custom tailored game plan to get more free leads, free sales, and free profits directly from Google and other search engines. Feel free to get that link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching and see you on the next one. Cheers, bye-bye.